addicted to? And what did this world do to you? What'll it take to get you through? And how long has it had a hold on you?
Hey, welcome back to another edition of Addicted2. We've got a return guest, my friend Rose.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
That's good.
So last time you were on, we talked about a little bit about dating and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't really talk about much was the effect on the kids.
Yeah.
And how you were still in addiction and they were old enough to
Remember
and feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did it take, would you think, before you were able to repair that portion of your life?
Well, I mean, my kids were fairly young when I was in my addiction, but they weren't too young to not remember. So, you know, they noticed a difference right away when I quit. They noticed that, you know, mommy's a lot more fun. Mommy's a lot more calm.
Sure they would.
Yeah, they definitely noticed that. My daughter voiced it to me as well. You know, I think she was 7 when I quit. So
And now she's
10. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, 7 years old, that's old enough to know they can tell what's going on.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when I quit, I was drinking the non-alcoholic beers because that was one of my drinks was beer. So I would crack open a non-alcoholic and I would drink maybe quarter to half of it and it would get rid of that craving for a beer. But anytime I'd crack it open, she would automatically, she'd hear that sound and she would look at me and be, "Mommy, you don't drink beer." I'm like, "Nope, this isn't real beer. It's fake beer and it's okay for me to drink this one."
But
Yeah.
just that fear, right?
Yeah.
Because then, so when they were around, and then I don't know if you were like me, but I'm sure we had some similarities. Did you go until you blacked out, passed out, or you put them to bed, but you'd continue on?
Oh, I continued on once they went to bed for sure. I couldn't put them to bed soon enough. Sometimes they were going to bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock because that's when I could
Let loose.
let loose a little bit more. I would try to keep the drinking a little bit lighter before they went to bed. And then, yeah, it was almost, some nights it was blackout. Other nights I was a little bit more calm. I mean, it was when COVID hit. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. Right
that
in the
was
middle
that,
of COVID, right?
Yeah. When the addiction really hit was COVID because it was socially acceptable to have a beer at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's COVID. I can have a beer.
Socially acceptable when nobody else is around to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's face it, COVID sure spurred on a lot.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, it's a good thing that you brought that up. I was clean. But I remember vividly that I was sitting on the couch in this bonus room watching whatever, endless things on Netflix and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I got up off the couch one specific day at about 2 o'clock and it just hit me like a brick that I just panicked. I was alone and I thought, like, it just feels like my addiction again. I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And then I had to talk myself off the ledge. Not that I really wanted, but
Your brain was trying to trick you into thinking
everything
it.
felt the same.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, okay, like, get it together. There's nothing you could do. The phone's not ringing. Everything's locked down. You don't have to be at work. But just that realization and having to breathe and go, okay, like, because I was there.
Yeah.
So I can identify with what you must have been going through.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't help that, you know, even though grocery stores were closing down, the Yeah. The liquor stores stayed open.
Oh, for sure. They were a necessity.
So it was, it was a lot easier to access alcohol than it was to get groceries.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
those shelves stayed stocked while groceries were empty.
which was so weird.
Yeah.
But the
now that you
government-
think back on it.
But the government, I guess in their infinite wisdom or I don't really understand that, but I guess they kind of figured that if they took that away from people, I guess they figured there'd be total mayhem then.
Mm-hmm. Probably would have been, actually.
But instead of it being outside, I think they just drove it inside because, of course, if you weren't alone, the domestic violence went through the roof, from what I hear.
Yeah.
And people's mental abilities and capacity just went right down. I mean, I know, like I said, just that instance that I was talking about, like I was by myself. There was no, you were almost going to be arrested if you knocked on your neighbor's door. You weren't allowed to hang out with anybody. It was a really dark time.
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, luckily for me, I was living with my mom at the time. So that was...
so you had...
I had her to socialize with. But it also affected my kids too. My daughter, like when COVID first hit, she was quite little. She found a dead fly outside and she became friends with it. It was her new friend because we couldn't go out because of COVID. She had little beads, like for making bracelets.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lined them up on the carpet and said that they were her friends and they were there to visit her. So it hit her really hard too.
Well, yeah, I mean...
and on top of that, that's when I started drinking a little bit heavier as well. So I wasn't fully, even though I was physically there, mentally, I was not there.
Well, we've all been there, not present.
Yeah.
Just basically the shell of somebody. And
yeah, I basically made sure that the kids, they were fed and they were alive. And that was pretty much my effort while I was in alcoholism and addiction.
And what do you think affected you the most out of that? Was it loneliness? Like, I mean, you had your mom, but you didn't have a companion. You didn't have any other interaction.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint what brought it on. Yeah, I think part of it was loneliness.
Or did you have a feeling because you had so much time on your hands? Like we all did, because you couldn't go anywhere. You were bored. So I would imagine that had to be, because it certainly crossed my mind. I was thinking.
Basically like, F it, I may as well get drunk. Like that was, I got nothing else to do. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to do anything else. And, as long as, the addiction side of it was trying to reason with things. So, for me, it was, well, the kids are fed and taken care of, and my mom's here to help take care of them, so they'll be fine.
And you know exactly where they are and what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So in my mind, the kids were fine. They didn't need me. I could check out. I could check out.
Yeah, I could see it, because I would be lying if I said that those things didn't cross my mind, because I think I was here for about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And, basically planted to the couch. There wasn't anything else to do. And it just brought me right back, because I thought, but, why not?
Yeah.
What else is there to do? Like,
exactly.
And if I'm going to be stuck on the couch here and I don't have an expectation of having to go to work, or, the phone wasn't ringing. It was such a.
Yeah. But my
black time.
My alcohol addiction started sooner than that. I think it started after I left the kid's dad.
And that was shortly before COVID?
No, my son was only 1 year old at that point. He had just turned 1 when I left him. But I think it's because my relationship was so controlling that I finally had that freedom to do what I wanted. So that's when I started, drinking on the weekends, because he took the kids every weekend. So the second the kids were out of my house, there was a drink in hand. And I didn't stop.
That was probably partly to cope.
Yeah, probably.
Or at least you thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was partially coping. Part of it was I was trying to, let loose and do whatever I wanted because I was in such a controlling, toxic relationship for so long. I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to do anything.
Wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So for me to be able to finally have that freedom, I think I started to take the letting loose a little too far because it was only on weekends for a while. But then it was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine tonight. Well, eventually that one glass turned into 3 bottles and it didn't take long. It only took a few months for it to turn into that.
You had your kids young.
I was 24 when I got pregnant with Sophia.
Which is fairly young.
Yeah.
I would consider it. So when you're saying let loose, you were with him for a few years?
Yeah. So I met him when I was 21 when I met him.
So then I'm just trying to put it all. So you had your kids when you were 24, which is pretty young. So by the time you got out of that relationship, I've kind of noticed there's a pattern. Women mature much faster than men. Mm-hmm. No contest. I wanted to party until I was like into my 40s. Didn't want to grow up.
Yeah.
But most guys will kind of straighten it up and trying to get it together around 26, 27, 28, and then start thinking about marriage. Whereas the women are there much sooner. Mm-hmm. But, and here's the big but, I find that women, when they start to hit the early 30 to 35, want to go back and revisit the part that they think they missed out on.
Yeah, I feel that.
Little bit of a theory of mine.
I definitely agree with you. Like on my own personal level, I agree with that because that's kind of how it was when I left the kid's dad. Is I wanted to go back and revisit that party phase and go back to that.
So, did you feel that because you had your kids so young that you had missed out? So then you kind of thought, I'd like to, have my kick at that cat for a little bit of freedom and Yahoo and whoop it up or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not judging.
Definitely. I feel like when I got together with the kid's dad, he was older than I was. He was about 6 years older. So he was out at that party stage and I wasn't quite ready to leave it yet, but he was pushing for me to stop partying. And
be the mother figure.
And become that. So I didn't get to end my party phase when I typically wanted to. So then when I left him, I went back to that party stage and tried to get back to where I was when I was 21. But I was doing it closer to my 30s.
Yeah, I've seen a pattern there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm no psychologist. I couldn't say for sure, but I've just noticed it. And then it seems, again, the women seem to catch on a lot quicker than the men, and it seems to be shut down within a couple of years. But that's not to say that addictions aren't formed.
Yeah.
And, things are hidden or...
Yeah, because for me, it started out as just alcohol. I was only drinking when I first left. I was only drinking for a while. And then, of course, as you meet new people, they're like, hey, I have some Coke. Do you want to do some? And I'm like, yes. Because, I never...
what everybody did.
Before, yeah. And before this, I never had a problem with doing it. It was just recreational. I could do it every now and then. And eventually, it became not as recreational as I would like it to have stayed. Unfortunately, but that's how addiction happens. Nobody wakes up one day and they're like, hey, I'm going to be an addict today.
No truer words have been spoken. I mean, as soon as you said that, I'm always reminded by the GNR song. I used to do a little, but a little was a middle, so a little got more and more.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's exactly anybody who's ever had addiction. I mean, that phrase sums it right up. And we've got that energy that's driving us, and it's just pushing you because it's never enough.
No. What's that saying? There's a saying that we say in SMART all the time. One is never enough. Or one is too many and 1,000 is never enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just getting back to so you had the kids young, and then you got out of the relationship, and it was like, woohoo, I got my wings back. So you started going down the road, but that's when everything started getting fueled.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when it all started. And then one of my friends and I reconnected, and she found out that I did drugs. I found out that she did drugs, and it was a very bad combination for us both, because once we found out that we both did drugs, that was it. We fed off of each other.
Plus, so we've got young, beautiful women, and they're going out.
Yep.
Right? And when you're free, let's face it, you can leave with very little money, but you can still... You know where I'm going with this, right?
I know exactly where you're going with it.
The men are offering.
It's funny, but it's funny because it's so true. We would
do you
go...
want to come to my place, or I've got a limo. You what are you drinking tonight here? You want to do... the world's your oyster. Let's face it.
We would go out with like $10 to $20, and we would leave not being able to walk straight. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
So that doesn't help.
No, because we would even say, hey, we're not going to drink that much this time because we don't have a lot of money.
Yeah. And within an hour, that's out the door.
Oh, it was completely out the door. Because one of us would find somebody, because we were both single. And, one of us would find somebody and start talking to them. And, hey, do you want a drink? Yeah, I want a drink. Oh, but I need one for my friend. And
and then he had a friend.
Yeah. And then they would, So it was
yeah, I know how it goes.
It always snowballed for sure.
Because the other observation I've made, which is always quite fascinating to me, is the fact that there's probably, I would say there's 2 men for every woman, in any of the rooms I've ever gone to. But the big factor is, anytime I was ever out in my addiction, there was always somebody to rock with.
Yep.
Right? It's a 50-50 deal. I mean, not always. There's sometimes it's like you're with your buddy and you're like, hey, it's like a stag in here. But generally speaking, the ratio wasn't 2 to 1.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where the rest of those women are. Did they not make it out, or are they still there?
I don't know.
But I can imagine that, like you say, you thought, okay, well, I don't have that much money, but that's not a barrier.
No, it wasn't.
So then, but that doesn't do you any good. I guess it's good for the ego.
Yeah.
But it's not very good for your addiction.
No. And then, yeah, like there was a point where I was living on my own with the kids, and their dad wasn't seeing them very much, but I was still, staying up. I would stay up all night and then be tired all day and fighting my sleep all day. But then I finally got the kids to bed, and it's like, oh, hey, I could drink now, or I can use now that the kids are in bed, and it would start all over again. And that doesn't mean that it necessarily happened every single day. I would take, breaks sometimes, but generally like the weekend is when I would allow myself to, because I was working as well. So I had to be sober for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the kids, they definitely notice a difference now. And one of the first things that they said is, you're a lot more fun. You're a lot more fun. You do stuff with us now. You're easier to talk to. I hear that one from my daughter. It's a lot easier to talk to me now. I'm a lot more understanding. I'm a lot calmer.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't a mean alcoholic. Like, I didn't get overly mad, but I was just a little bit more short-tempered. It was just like the quick little snaps
You're lucky because I was a miserable SOB.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was even quite a few years into sobriety until I did a lot of counseling
Yeah.
with a lot of things that I really didn't want to face. And I'm not going to get into those only because for my upbringing, there was some things that involved with my siblings, and out of respect for them, I don't want to tell their story too.
Yeah.
Or else
that's fair.
Or else I would.
Yeah.
But, for sure, abuses took place and created a lot of anger in me, and I carried it. Mm-hmm. And I think we go out in the world, I don't know if it's true for you, but once you've got a feeling that you've been wronged, you kind of put up that wall, and then you go out into the world and you kind of look at people and thinking, I'm not going to let anybody else get over on me, whether it be a bad relationship with a guy.
That's where my mind went right away was, my past relationship. There was a lot.
So you kind of go out, you're meeting people, but I'm guessing you're just, taking whatever. You're like a sponge, you can take whatever. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's good times and there was bad times, and, you got to take all the good with the bad, but the attitude starts to build.
Yeah.
Because it starts to become repetitious. And let's face it, guys, when they're buying women drinks, are not because they want to get married.
No, they don't.
They're not looking for a long-term situation here where, 20 minutes a do, right?
Yeah.
Or even after, sexual acts take place, basically say, what are you still doing here?
Yeah.
Here's some cab money.
Because of everything that I just went through with my recent ex as well, I wasn't looking to meet anybody. I didn't want to meet anybody.
We never do once we come out of there.
Yeah.
We just wanted, because it hinders the party.
Yeah.
Because then you've got to be responsible and accountable again. And we don't want that.
Yeah. But, as we talked about last time, like I am seeing somebody, and, he doesn't get in the way of my parenting either,
Well, you've got healthy boundaries now too.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do. And he's definitely respectful of those, which really helps. And he's respectful of my sobriety. So he is one of the people that can have a casual drink,
Yeah.
He can have one and be done. I mean, I wasn't blessed.
What's up with that?
I know. I wasn't blessed with that, but he was. So, but he won't drink around me. So we will buy the Corona Sunbrews, the zeros, and he'll drink those with me, but he hasn't drank any alcohol around me.
I love those things. I call them, I say, taste the same without the pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I've been working, like I know we were talking about parenting before, so my mind is kind of going back to that. I've been working really hard on becoming the parent that I wanted to be, because I lost sight of that, and I lost that person when I started to get into alcoholism and addiction. And now, I'm the mom. I'm there for my kids after school. Every single day I'm there. Every single morning I'm there for my kids. No hangover, no little irritability. I can't say none.
Happen. Well, it's
because I do have children who I have to repeat myself with. And like everybody else who has children.
I know. My kids are...
you can only say please so many times before you look at them and you give them a good mom voice. But, I'm dropping them off without a hangover. I'm picking them up after school. I cook dinner every night. And I cook good dinners. You
do cook good.
Yeah, I brought you some of my cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a way different life. I find my kids too do depend on me a lot more. Mm-hmm. Usually I've got a little bit of a joke like that I can speak millennial now. If I get a text, things aren't too bad. If I get a phone call, then I usually say, do I have to sit down or stand up? And how much is this going to cost? Because
that's so true.
When you get the phone call,
yeah,
it's, you got to get, but I mean, I don't mind getting the phone calls because it means that
They trust you.
they trust me,
Yeah.
they need me,
Yeah.
they want to share something with me that's important. And even if it does cost money, let's face it, when you're a mother or a father, I mean, you know, you'll buy them lunch when they're 60 years old and you're 80.
Yeah.
It's your kids.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that's the driving force behind really
Yeah.
good decisions, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, their happiness is what matters and their well-being is what matters. And that's, you know, another reason why I got sober is I knew I wasn't providing that for my kids anymore. I knew I wasn't providing that safe space for them anymore. And I wanted to be that safe space for them again.
And we do miss so much not being present. Mm-hmm. Like being the shell of the person that's there,
Yeah.
but it's not all there. And the person that is there being itchy, bitchy, and twitchy, and they're walking around on eggshells.
Yeah.
You know, from their point of view, it's got to be just brutal.
Yeah.
Because I remember what it was like when I was growing up. And let's face it, people don't always stay happy,
Yeah.
right? And the happy guy starts to turn, or the happy girl or lady too. And sooner or later, you know, it's on.
Yeah.
And the misery comes out, and there's broken glasses and the fights and the swearing and the yelling. And that doesn't instill a whole lot of happy feelings for anybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want my kids to grow up seeing a healthy parent, knowing what a healthy parent is, knowing what a supportive parent is, because unfortunately, for a while, their father wasn't present in their life. You know, he went almost 2 years without seeing the kids or talking to them. So I needed to step up as both mom and dad. And I couldn't afford to not be there for them.
For sure.
You know, I had to step up to the plate. I had to make a change and I had to get better.
So it might have been for the best.
Yeah.
When if that was part of your driving force to keep it together, then,
Yeah.
you know, whatever works, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I know, you know, everybody says you got to get sober for yourself, but I did it for my kids. And because I did it for them and seeing them happy and seeing them okay makes me feel good. So in a way, it does kind of come back to myself.
It does, but you know, I understand that thinking that you can only do it for yourself. But as a father, I can certainly relate to it because it is more than just self when you have kids. And there is a different factor. At the same time, I don't think you could do it for a partner. But it's not the same type of relationship, matter how much you love them, right?
Well,
Your
I mean,
kids,
because partners can come and go. Your kids are there.
Yeah.
No matter what, you have your kids, especially when they are younger. You know, my kids aren't adults. They're nowhere near that. So no matter what, those kids are my main priority.
They're a piece of you.
Yeah. Well, I grew them. I built them
Exactly.
from scratch, you know?
And for a mother, yeah, that's a way different connection than even for a guy. But for a guy, I remember thinking like it weighed on me heavy too. Man, you got to smarten up. You got to clean it up for your kids. You got to step up. And you know, you don't want to be the drunken fool. And even though I provided, there was always food. But it's not just about the food, the clothing, and the roof. And you know, I mean, when they were younger, we certainly didn't have the material things. My ex didn't work.
Yeah.
We were the ones in the grocery store with the calculator. And if she grabbed that one item that was over the budget, then I said, listen, something in the cart's got to go. That's how tight we were. We were not.
Well, even now in sobriety, I'm that tight. Because I have the baby and I have the two older kids as well. But because I did return back to work, so I had the baby in February. I returned back to work end of August, early September. Because I was a single mom living on my own. I had rent to pay. I have bills to pay. And I still penny pinch. I still go through the grocery store with the calculator, figuring out what my budget is just to make sure that I have enough to make it to the next week. Because even now with work, I only work every 2 weeks so that I have the good at-home balance with the baby, and I still get to work and make a little bit of money.
Well, yeah, it's tough these days. I mean, even for people that work full time, you've got the childcare expenses. In my day, there was no child tax credit. There was no help at all.
See, and if it wasn't for that child tax credit, I wouldn't be able to be, I'd probably still be living with my mom. I wouldn't be on my own because that basically pays my rent and my electricity. And then after that, that's what I go to work for, is for, all of our food, any extracurriculars we want to do.
Plus, wouldn't that help on your sobriety, just giving you a little bit of independence too, and making you feel like whole, even if you've got a small place, because rents are expensive.
My place is very small.
But at least it's yours.
It's mine, and I'm doing it on my own. Yeah.
So there's got to be a sense of pride there too.
There definitely is.
If you had to be with your mom, I would think there would be resentments.
Yeah. And there's a chance that if I still lived with her and I didn't live on my own, I could slip back into things as well, because I had somebody there to take care of the kids all the time.
Yeah, would be easy to check out again.
It'd be very easy to check out. I mean, the past 2 years of sobriety have been really easy because when I was pregnant.
That's true.
So that made it easy. But then after that, I also nursed my baby. So
I even found it rough when you weren't cleaning the house. And I had to stop and think, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how we get used to such a routine and then relying on people. In sobriety, you do. You rely on people that are reliable.
Yeah.
And then not even just about what you were doing, though. Like, I mean, because we would have coffee a little bit and have conversations.
Yeah.
And so when that's taken away too, you're like, there's a hole there. Whereas when you're in your addiction, those relationships and those little moments don't really matter as much.
No, not nearly as much. And it's funny that you mentioned the coffee and stuff, because I have another client of mine. I clean her house, and every Wednesday I go to her house. I go there an hour before I'm supposed to start cleaning, just so that we can have coffee and talk about our week or our past 2 weeks and how everything's been going. She's also in recovery as well. So I think she's just reached 9 months sober. And it's kind of like our own, because she goes to Smart Recovery as well when she can. It's kind of like our own little smart meetings, because we get to go and bounce off of each other about how our weeks have been and what's been going on in our lives. Yeah.
Support.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of another one.
All right.
We'll have to get you back here.
All right. Sounds good. I'll definitely come back.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.